Never was the type to read alone. Now it's me that write the lines you hear in every song. Inspire minds to develop and learn to teach.
Mel said some things about Jim and others. Now, after phone conversation was leaked, where Mel is talking about Wack. Now, was Jim wrong in directing his anger at Wack? And should he have called Wack and had a conversation and told him how he felt about the situation before he responded the way he did? Just had a phone conversation with him man to man first. And the same thing for Wack. Do you think that Wack should have even entertained that part of the conversation once 6ix9ine took it there?
Basically, they handled it the way they should have handled it. You know what I mean? They probably both had something to get off their chest. But as for Jim Jones wise, he should have spoke up for himself, and I have other speak up for him.
Yeah, Wack did an interview with 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine mentioned Jim. And he was insinuating about Jim cooperating and stuff like that. So instead of Wack,
All right, stop right there, right? He didn't say a lot. He threw bits in there because 6ix9ine sat with the people. You understand what I'm saying? And he also knows that in order for Jim to not have been apprehended or questioned, being that he is on not a regular conversation wiretap, but he's on a RICO wiretap. You understand what I'm saying? This is a RICO wiretap. So me being a part of the situation, I could give my spiel because I know the truth. And I'm not saying this out of no dislike for Jim Jones, because Jim Jones was always all right. With me, he just always seemed scary around me, which I didn't feel comfortable with. And Melly used to tell me, yo, that nigga Jim, when he get around you, he act, So rather than that, I don't take nothing away, from the situation. I'm not saying this out of no hate or no dislike, but being that I was in the same situation, a little more worse than Jim Jones, I know Jim Jones made a cooperating agreement, which stands as this: if.
And that's allegedly. Now you saying, because you saying that because of your experience, that's what happens.
My experience with the government, right?
Okay.
You said this under a RICO investigation. This was going on. They have to question you. They have to question you because you're involved, right? Verbally. And you're giving some kind of threatened orders out or something going on like that. You're giving orders out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So being that you do that under a RICO investigation, you have to be questioned. You dig what I'm saying? And being that he's who he is, he's not going to have a regular questioning. He's going to have a, hey, listen, we have you on this recording. We can apprehend you, or would you be willing to take the stand if need be against them guys yours on the phone with? You don't just walk scot-free for having a violent plot on a RICO wiretap. It don't work like that. It don't just disappear.
Hassan, what you think?
Y'all already know what I think, man. Like, listen, and I listen to that lawyer dude that everybody act like is a lawyer, saying that Jim is not. My whole thing is like this, right? I've sat back and watched dudes get life in jail because they said, I got to go to the store and get Pampers. The feds interpreted that those Pampers was drugs being sold. This nigga's a federal wiretap sitting up there talking about he has to get super violated, and he actually went into details on how to shoot his security because security in New York can't carry guns. This is a federal, first of all, he's part of non-trade. You're part of non-trade. You are non-trade. You're a gang member. You gave a hit over the internet. You see what I'm saying? You was the reason Why they,
I think was over the phone.
yeah, he was the reason why the feds moved in so fast. It was his phone, his conversation. So they just gonna skip out on the part with Jimmy. And see, my whole thing is like this, right? With Jim Jones. How do you not sit down and try to at least give the people an understanding? I would respect Jim Jones more if the nigga said, listen.
I'm gonna tell you why. Go ahead. I'm gonna tell you why.
I would respect the nigga if he said, listen, I know it sounds crazy, but that's my word. You know what I mean? I'm not working with these people. He won't even tell you he ain't working with the people.
I won't say that. I won't say that he's a working federal informant. I wouldn't say that. What I would say this though, I would say when they approached him and threatened him with prison time, he agreed.
If they approached him, they may have never approached him. So we say if they approached him.
No, isn't. I've been in that courtroom. I know the prosecutors. They're going to approach you. That's not nothing. That's not no superior court, some city court. You dealing with individuals that's on a conversation. They're coming to approach you and ask you what is going on.
Right.
It's not like as he's some CEO of a major record company and he was saying this out of anger. He was saying this coming from a gang-related perspective.
Wack posted a video on IG, challenged Jim Jones to post his paperwork and explain how he avoided being charged in the Treyway case.
There's no paperwork. Only thing Jim did was say, hey, listen, if Melly and them go to trial, he will cooperate.
No, correction. What Wack told him is to show paperwork on that down south case with the gun. That's what he told him to show paperwork on, how you get around that gun and drugs on a high-speed chase, running from the police and got caught with guns and drugs in the car. How did that case just go away?
Not in defense of Jim with that, but what all I'm going to say is, sometimes you might be in the car with somebody and it's some shit. Well, you in the car with somebody, police get on your ass, whatever the case might be. Okay, Jim is the bag. So somebody else might take that. So for all we know, the person that he was with probably took that. So, you know what I mean? So then that gave, that's how he was able to wiggle.
Go with that.
You know what I mean?
I could go with that. And many things get misconstrued, in situations like that. I could definitely go with somebody else, tuck the hammer charge, but it had to be some written paperwork from the courts that you're not a part of that case no more.
Yes.
Now, is Wack right in asking for that? Now, Wack didn't say Jim was a rat. 6ix9ine was insinuating that. Now, does Jim need to clear his name? And do you think that he owes the world an explanation? Or is that shit just silly shit that really don't mean nothing in the corporate world where they getting money at?
And to be honest with you, in the corporate world, man, it don't even matter, man. It matter for the individuals that's, doing it for the whatever they got going on, but for the world that count, them guys don't even know what's going on. You can't even tell them guys in that position what it would. You tell them, hey, they're gonna like, what are you talking about? Because that's not they fail.
Haas, what you think, bro?
I think personally, when you look at Jim Jones' whole resume, it just don't look right. Nothing about that. I personally feel like Jim Jones is an agent of Satan. Like, first and foremost, I tell people all the time, Jim Jones, OG Mac may have, played a big part with the UB on Rikers Island, but Jim Jones was the billboard for Bloods in New York in the streets with this Dipset movement. He was a walking billboard. And
he seen the opportunity and he sees that.
Yeah.
He sees that. Because I remember when he first started out, I was in the penitentiary, but I was getting the letters and I was speaking to mail. I seen that whole thing fold over. And I seen it go from whatever it was.
Never was the type to read alone. Now it's me that write the lines you hear in every song. Inspire minds to develop and learn to teach his own.